Hi, and welcome to Chronicles of Yarnia, the podcast for Montclair's local yarn store. I'm not usually the one that says that.
That's right. I know. There was a couple of weeks ago when I did it, and it felt really weird. So it is Kathleen and
Amanda
here today to talk to you about bullet journals.
Yay.
Because it's something we've talked about. We've mentioned a couple of times on podcasts. We talk about it in the store.
Yeah,
people see us using them, and
I do mine
curious.
on Sundays. So, but I don't know. I think it's really helped me.
Definitely.
Keep my life organized.
Absolutely.
So, and we both do, I think, it in different ways. So we'll talk a little bit about what we do, and maybe it'll help you.
Yeah, exactly. It's a cool thing. It's really, and the thing I love most about bullet journaling is you can make it whatever you want it to be.
Yeah, totally.
That's what is so cool about it, that it is so customizable.
Yeah.
Kind of like when you need a sweater, right?
Yeah.
So maybe there is a tie.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So there's not a lot of knitting content, but I think I'm going to start a new channel on our podcast that's about other stuff.
The rest of life, other things we're interested in. If you hear
us, I'm going to also drink my tea during this episode because we've got this plus another
a full podcast to do.
Full podcast to record. So.
Jen will be here in probably 5 minutes.
Yeah.
But we'll.
But yeah. So so if you hear anything that you're like, hey, I want to know more about the pottery Jen does, or cooking that Kathleen does, or whatever, be sure to put it in the comments, and maybe we'll do one of these little minis.
That's a
about
great idea.
What you're
I like that.
interested in.
Let us know about other things we chat about, and if it's something that's enough to expand, we'll do that.
Yeah. I was also thinking of doing a little mini channel about when we have designers on or special guests, pulling those out of the regular episode, making a little 10-minute.
That's a great idea.
And putting that down below. So mid-year resolutions, that'll come.
No, it's still even the first quarter. It's March.
I should put those ideas in my bullet journal.
Yep, that is absolutely one thing bullet journals are great for.
Yeah, so let's start. So how did you get into this, first of all?
I have always been a list maker, literally since I can remember. I mean, in grammar school, I was making lists.
Oh, good for you.
And by the time I got to high school and college, I was definitely known as, the girl with all the index cards. And I always had, because I want to have with me what I needed to do, or I had yardage requirements for garments that I like to make. I did a lot of sewing in high school.
Nice.
And so over time, it just transitioned. I probably could find some notebooks I had in college that weren't quite bullet journal concept, but pretty similar. And then, I used to do a daily list, which I think bullet journals are so much better than daily lists. And really the reason is you can see what you've done. So, and there's a whole, there's actually, is yours an official? Yeah, this is one of the official ones. I got one last year.
I got this actually. It says bullet journal on the front, but I think it's not one of the branded ones. There are companies that do.
Well, we both had the real one or the official the branded one last year, I think. I didn't love that one because it was really heavy. And I like to make sure that I have mine with me everywhere.
Yeah.
So really, what a bullet journal is a notebook of some sort, a physical notebook.
Yeah.
That you carry with you.
It can be any size, though.
Yeah, any size,
it's
really.
Not
it doesn't have to be. I mean, I find this size is kind of half of an 8.5 by 11 to be handy because it's big enough to have multiple columns, but it is small enough to keep in my bag. So, and we can, I don't know, we're going to have every detail of what I did last week there, but I think you can sort of see here.
I took a picture of my blank week. So.
Yeah. Well, I do mine a little bit differently. What I do is, I have my carryover to-dos from the prior week. They're the very first thing, and I actually draw a line underneath them. And my goal is always, to try to do one of those a day. And this is actually a thing I had for my corporate life.
Good. Yeah.
Because, there are always those things that, it's usually the proactive things that you don't get to. The things that other people are waiting for you to hand to them, those are the ones that get done. And then the things it would be great if we could do this because it would move us forward in this area. Those nice to haves never get done. So I used to, the first thing on my to-do list would be all those carryovers from the prior week. And then, if I try to do one of those a day.
So your days are color-coded.
My days are color-coded. I've always been about the color coding. But that is one thing that I really, and I tend to start on Monday. So I write out what is carried over from the prior week, what I know I'm trying to do that day, And then as I do it, I check it off in the color of the day. And I've got a little key at the top that shows what...
yeah, so I'll take a picture so you can see a little bit better.
Yeah.
But yeah, so yours is just a list.
Yeah, it really is just a list. And then, and so, for example, I meant to pay my mortgage on the 2nd, but I didn't get to it till the 3rd. So it's like written, the box, and literally I've started doing a box around it if it's a day I know I'm trying to do it on, like a color-coded to that day. If I don't care when I do it, I just do a pencil outline. Because, sometimes you think of something that's like, oh, probably don't have time to get to that today, but I know I do want to do it as soon as I can. And so that's the way
every day.
I indicate
that's
that.
My life.
But, I used to be one of those people that would have, and it's funny because I did bullet journal. I the earliest, well, I don't even know if this is the earliest, obviously. It's 2017 too. But this is at least the 4th year I've been doing this. So it has been a while. And I may have even had them before that. But, I sort of fell out of the habit of doing it last year. Partly I think it was because that book was so heavy. I stopped carrying it around and I just didn't buy another one. But if you just have a daily to-do list and you cross it out and you throw it away, one of the things I hate about it is you have no sense of accomplishment.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like you got all those things to get done and you've done them and you move on. By doing it like this... not only can I see what I still need to do, I can see what I've done.
Yeah.
Which, it actually makes you feel good. It's like, yeah, I actually really did accomplish a lot this week. And
that makes me feel so good.
Yeah.
When I
it does. It
work
really,
off all my stuff.
It does. And, the other thing, they call it, and the person who branded it as bullet journal, is named Ryder something. I forget the full name, but.
We'll put a link.
Yeah, to the whole, there's an Instagram, there's an
Instagram, but I found his website when I first started. I started because I forget how I found BohoBerry, who's here local in New Jersey.
Oh, wow. Oh, cool.
Yes.
I didn't realize that. I mean, it's funny, the way Instagram works. Like, I follow her, but have I seen a post from her in the last year? Probably not, because it shows you what it wants to show you.
Yeah, totally. But she, her positive attitude and just this is a way to help you keep things organized really got me into bullet journaling. But she recommended going to Ryder, what's his name? Sorry.
We'll look it up.
His website, which is a very stark, very basics of this is how to bullet journal. This is the system to help you keep organized. So
and you really, as we said, you really can customize it. So there's supposed to be this thing where a task has a dot and an event has something else and everything.
Yeah,
and
mine has that.
I don't do it that way. I don't know. I've always been about the customization, I guess.
Well, yeah.
But the other thing that I love and that I feel like bullet journal is so good with is when you go and it's however, some people do a month at a time, some people do a few days at a time. I tend to find that by doing this 2 columns per page, I can have 4 columns. That pretty much gets me through the week. It's really for the last, since I started this one, I don't know, it's 8 or 9 weeks, every spread. And this was, I got a lot done and I didn't even use up the whole page on that spread.
But that's you physically can't probably do more tasks than that in a week.
Exactly. And, sometimes I actually wind up writing down something that I just can't forget to do. It's just even though it's not a big thing, it's it's an important thing that's small, you get it on there. But the thing that I love, one of the things that I love is that, whatever your time frame is, and I tend to update mine on Monday mornings. I don't Sunday evening is my me time, and I'm I like to have my glass of wine and whatever knitting project I'm working on. Sunday evening is I don't ever schedule anything then if I can at all help it. And so Monday morning, I spent 90 minutes, Monday morning going through, seeing what had to be migrated from last week to this week. And kind of getting myself organized. So
nice.
The whole migration thing, though, is so good because you really step back and say, all right, well, I didn't do this task this week. Does that mean I don't actually need to do it? Is it not that important to me? Is the universe telling me it's not that important because in 7 days with all of these dozens of things that I didn't get to it.
Right.
So I love that assessment aspect of it.
Yep.
Yeah. So
okay.
So we're back. So let's have Amanda tell you about her bullet journal. Because, like you said, it's so customizable, so I'm sure we approach it slightly differently.
Yeah, I think when I started, I tried to follow the official bullet journal method. So you start out with like a year plan. And so
true. Yep.
This is my year plus birthdays. Guess what? It's totally blank. Because I haven't gotten to doing that yet, and it's already March.
I did
did a year.
I did a year calendar, and there's something kind of satisfying about actually writing out all of it. And that is one of the things a lot of people that bullet journal really get into. I mean, my daughter Haley does it too, and she's got such cute little illustrations in it. It's like I that's not whatever. Different strokes for different folks. It's not what is fun for me about it, but it's something that makes it really enjoyable for her and makes her really want to touch it every day and do something with it.
Yeah. No, so. You'll see mine, it gets a little crafty. I'm not like, some people are like illustrationists and they're fantastic.
Oh, I'm sure this is my craftiest page. I've got like 5 colors on it.
Yeah.
But what the heck. And yeah, I do birthdays, holidays, and other important days. So like, a show that we know we're going to or something. Yeah. So, and I probably last touched this.
I need to do it.
Sometime in February, because I hadn't even checked off the month of February yet as being completed.
So I need to do year in my bullet journal. Anyway.
I do have a future log. That's one of the...
Well, that's a second thing. So that's, what's the future log? I forget.
Future log is things that you, you're not going to do right now, but you don't want to forget to do. And some people do their future log by month. I tend to do it more by category. It's like things I know I want to do. Like I've got a lot of Vera Bradley bags, and I use a handful of them, so I want to sell them. So it's one of those things. It's on my list. So
and eventually that'll migrate to like a weekly task.
Exactly. It'll go to that weekly list.
Yeah, and like Kathleen was saying, a lot of people schedule out a month. Now, to be fair, my month changes so much. If I scheduled out the month of March at the beginning of March, by the second week it would be totally changed and the page would be useless. So to me, you take your me time on Sundays. I also do, but that me time is for me to do my bullet journal.
And that's if that's what works. That's
my
great.
sad state. My me time is planning.
But that's good.
So I also took a better picture of this because I was sort of happy with how this week turned out. But that's how my week looks.
Very pretty.
So usually I go to #weekly_spread on Instagram and just sort of like look through and see what looks easy enough to sort of steal and recreate.
That's very fun. I like your cacti. Very nice.
So all of my, like, when I go to the doctor and they're like, hey, you need an appointment in 3 months or whatever, or in 6 weeks or whatever, I always put that in my phone. Right, so my phone is my system of record.
Yes,
for
absolutely,
all
for appointments and things like that.
And future things and trips, and everything goes in my phone. And I've got 5 Google calendars in my phone that all merge into my
I don't even
daily
know
calendar. Well, which is a problem, like with my insurance job. They're like, just share your personal calendar and then we'll know when you're available. And I'm like, if I shared my personal calendar,
you don't need to know when Charlie's going to like Little Fishy Swim, right?
Well,
or whatever it
certainly
is that he's doing these
days. Well, even so, even if I shared it and didn't like share the details of it and just blocked off the time, my whole day would be blocked off.
Yeah, exactly.
It's completely useless.
Well, and also I'm sure it changes for you, like who's, like you may decide the day or a day or two ahead, who's actually taking someone somewhere.
Yes.
Yeah. So, initially, the thing needs to happen, and then later it gets assigned to someone.
Just because it's on my calendar doesn't mean I am
You're going to be the one
to
do it, but you need to know about
I'm responsible that it happens.
Yeah, no, totally.
So that's what I do on Sunday is I actually go through, and so mine, this is not, I haven't actually ever seen anybody's bullet journal like this, but I have 3 categories of stuff. Work is all my boring insurance stuff, right? Then I have a whole Yarnia category, and then I have a home category. And each of those are color-coded. And then on the left-hand side, right, I have each day starting with Monday, because my life starts with a Monday and it ends with a weekend. I was explaining to Abby.
Oh yeah, I always. It drives me crazy that most calendars split Saturday and Sunday. Yeah. The weekend is the weekend. It should be together.
So that's together, yeah. And then I have the hours here. So this is almost like looking at the weekly times in your phone. Right?
Yep.
And I just block off the times with each activity that I have throughout the week. And then when somebody says like, hey, do you have a time for a meeting on Wednesday? I can say, yeah, I have time between 12:30 and 5. Because I know that time is time when I'm not responsible for completing a task. But yeah, so that's how my week goes. And you can see I'm in Yarnia this weekend. All orange.
Yep.
Not doing anything else. I'll be here. But yeah, so that's my weekly spread.
Very nice. Very nice.
And then each day, so I do migrate. These are my tasks by project that I need to complete. It doesn't necessarily this week. It's almost like my future log, I guess, for each item. Because like I migrate, this was last week, and the things I had to do for each one. The ones that I did, I might do 3 or 4 items from each list, right? And then anything that's not completed, I move over to the next week, like that. And then every day, I go through, I list my appointments first with little circles, and then I find I can't get done more than 4 items in a general day. Like if I schedule more than 4 items for myself, they don't get done.
You know that things aren't going to happen.
And I'll X them off as I do them. But what I like about this is I am very disciplined. I am very good at disciplining my tomorrow self. Right? And giving my tomorrow self the tasks that I don't want to do today. But I am very bad at disciplining myself today to do the tasks I don't want to do. But if I have 4 things to do, right, then it's almost like I'm not allowed to do anything else.
Yeah, I know I can do those. Or like once you've done those, then you can do other things.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Right?
And it's interesting.
It's a good way for me to do the things that I really don't enjoy doing.
And I guess my today self really... I noticed recently, I suffer from inertia. Once I start doing something, I have a really hard time stopping. And so that's the kind of thing, like if I'm sitting at my desk at home with my bullet journal, I'll be like, all right, what's here that hasn't been checked off yet? Oh, I can do that. And I just kind of get on a roll. So I don't, because I don't do it sort of in a daily way. I just add things as they occur to me, and, sometimes assign them to days. I will sometimes, kind of get on a roll and just, knock off a bunch of other things. I mean, yesterday afternoon, I wound up spending 4 hours on something that I thought was going to take an hour. So, that's why I have a lot of holes from yesterday, because a lot of them were calls that needed to be made during the business day. Those I'm obviously going to do today. Yep. But, that's one of the lovely things about bullet journal. It's fluid and it's so personalizable, because you just use the way it works for you.
Well, and if you're like Kathleen and me, and we've got so many balls up in the air, right? This is the only thing that makes sure balls don't drop for me, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
All of it, it's a reminder of what needs to be done every day. I think about, and doing my daily list of what I'm going to do the next day takes me 5 minutes, right? Which is...
Yeah, because you've got it on the prior page, you just transfer things over.
So since I started doing this, I found that I haven't had emergencies where it's like, I forgot to do something. I forgot to register a kid for camp. I forgot to, I forgot I have a doctor's appointment tomorrow and I forgot to ask for time off work or, let my boss know or whatever. Which was, I have to say, like a daily crisis. Not daily, weekly. Something happened, like regularly. I was double booked for appointments.
You got so many balls in the air. So it's an easy thing to have happen if you don't have a way of tracking the information.
Yeah. I mean, when I was working in corporate land, my inbox was essentially my bullet journal. Like, I kept everything unread until it was done, and I would just go through my inbox, and those were my tasks that I did each day, pretty much. Because I was managing a big team, so I wasn't doing a lot of the task work. I was putting out
assigning
fires.
Things to people.
I was and putting out fires and taking the escalated issues and things like that. So in that case, the things I needed to work on were the items in my inbox, pretty much. And if it wasn't, I put a sticky note on my computer screen. Yeah. But now, we have the store. I've got a startup. I've got lots of kids.
A home with a lot of people.
Yeah. I have book hotel for Beth because she's coming home. Or no, she's traveling for spring break, but her dorm closes before. So this is I wrote this down yesterday because I was chatting with her on the phone. I wasn't going to book the hotel right then. But this way I look at it every day until it makes it on my list, which since it's in writing, I know it's going to happen. I'm not going to forget it. It's not going to be Saturday night. She's going to be like, so what hotel am I in, Mom? After she's kicked out of her dorm.
One other thing I really like about your weekly list there is you've got your dinner menus, which is fun. That's a nice thing to throw in there.
Well, when kids are like, "What's for dinner?" I put it here, and it's blank right now because I shop at Fresh Direct, so they order groceries. I order on Tuesday to deliver on Wednesday. So today's a Tuesday, and it's my day to go plan the meals for the rest of the week, order the groceries I need, and make sure that we're set for the week.
I actually have a separate way of, I've had a meal planning thing for a long time too, but that's actually on my refrigerator, and I mostly tend not to think about that when I'm outside the house. Well, whatever. It's just how it works for me. So.
I put it in there. I don't think about it. Kids ask me what's for dinner. I'm like, I don't know. I have to look at my bullet journal. It's on my head.
I can definitely see the advantage of having that with you. I don't know. One thing was this. Oh, look. Oh, this is this space.
Oh.
This is the 2017. This is the bullet journal I was using when we actually found this space that we're sitting in right now for Yarnia. And my original little drawing when I thought it was wider. No, that's I doodle when I'm on the phone sometimes. If I that's just doodle. But let's see. It was approximately 16 by 27, and it kind of looks like this. It's not, the table's going the other way. I think I thought it was wider than it is deep, and it's the other way around. So, but that's really funny.
Basically.
The reason I thought, the thing I wanted to show though, and I don't mind if you do take a picture of this. Oh, see, there's one of my stickers. I used to do this habit tracker where I tracked. This was kind of crazy. This is, you can kind of see all the.
They're actually really helpful.
They are. They can be. It's funny. I did start. Actually, it was the one I was using at the end of last year. I had a habit tracker, and I was tracking too many things. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 things a day. That's insane. Plus a note about what was the big thing about that day. So, had I had enough? Did I have fruit or vegetables as a snack? Had I taken my fiber? Did I walk or go on the elliptical? Did I do at least 5,000 steps?
That's good though.
And it is, but it can be overwhelming.
Yeah.
It can be. I really try to use the bullet journal as a positive tool, as an encouraging tool, and I think by not having too many things to maintain, it keeps it positive for me. Anyway.
I'm in the middle of doing my tracker.
Ooh,
I have to lose
That's
15 pounds. So this is my motivation, right? If I put it down, maybe it will happen and I'll see path. And then this is my please go to the gym Amanda pages. So I did March, April, May. And I'm coloring in when I go to the gym, when I go dance, and when I go to Pilates or yoga.
Very nice.
So
I like that.
Hopefully it's a little motivation for me to color in my wheels.
I've never done the circular ones. I've seen those. That's really fun.
Well, I got these on Etsy. This is Jayden's apple.
Oh, cool.
And they're actually really useful. Like these trackers, right, that have all 31 days across, as well as this little thing up here that has the months in a grid. I have these little stencils.
Oh, how fun.
Right.
See, I just freehanded my calendar for the whole year, which I made a couple of mistakes. It was a pain. I did that one night.
And see, then you have your little habit tracker one, and then it has making circulars of all different...
Oh, I've got to get that info from you. I'm sure you'll post it below.
I'll post it below. Yeah, no, I really like Jayden. And then this one makes flower circles. I did flower circles a few weeks ago somewhere.
Is the door locked? Jen, you locked it behind you?
No. Yeah, see, I did the little flower circle there. But anyway.
The other thing I used to do a lot of, and I don't do anymore, is the stickers. But I've gotten some, fun sets of stickers, different places, and it's just the little. Yeah, isn't this cute? I've had this forever. I used to be a lot more into decorating my pages with things like this, little "let's go," and go home. Whatever.
I love that. Now, my stickers. Sometimes I have a few. I don't have that many, but I get inspired by my stickers for spreads.
This is so pretty. I'm definitely gonna have to do. I'm gonna have to do that.
My writing up here is poor, but I've got little cute stickers on the side.
My habit tracker I actually just did on the computer, and then because I had so many specifics that I wanted to put in there, and my template has up to 31 days, and obviously you don't fill it in if you I must have not realized how many days there were in June when I printed it out, because I did
You
white
get a
out
bonus
tape
day.
there.
No responsibilities.
So, so that's, and you've got your markers.
I brought my
didn't bring
markers.
my markers.
I use Tombow for all my colors. They've got a really nice range, and I got a lot of these on sale. So, yay. I've been through a lot of pens. I used fountain pen when I started. I've used some other Tombow pens, but I love the Sharpie pen. Mainly because it does not run. Like, I can write with this pen and then mark over it with this, and it stays there and it doesn't run, it doesn't bleed through, which is nice. A lot of other pens are water-based, and if you write something and then you want to highlight it, you've got a big smear across your page.
Or even worse, if a drip of water gets on it, it messes up your words. I liked this book because it was lightweight. It's got like medium weight paper. I'd say one thing, if you're not using one of the official bullet journals, definitely test your paper with your markers. Yeah. Because one of the reasons I'm using Flair pens currently, I got a pack of like 30 colors.
I saw your colors. I've
got a pack of 12 of the black ones, which I use for my text primarily. But one of the reasons I settled on Flairs is that I had used other ones, and a lot of them, unless your paper is super heavy, which makes your book super heavy, it can bleed through. Yeah. So it's you got to find what works for you, basically.
This one, I got this journal at an airport, and it, like I said, it's not one of the official ones, and I will say this paper is more absorbent. So the Tombow pens, you can use them as watercolor pens and like mix them with water, and they make really pretty designs. They will not do that on this. They just absorb into the paper and they won't blend, which is fine. So if you know what they do, then you won't be disappointed.
Exactly.
Next week is another week.
That's right. Exactly. Yep.
Okay.
One of the other, just quickly, one thing. I do the index in the very beginning, which mine is not very pretty. It would be nice if it were prettier. But,
well, I mean,
it's,
I have a page for an opening.
So and actually one thing I do, did yours come with page numbers on it, or?
No, it didn't.
This one, what I do if I get one that doesn't already have numbers is the first thing I do is go through and number all the pages. And then you can fill out your index, and this is all the bullet journal philosophy. Fill out your index, on the first page or two, and then basically my weekly to-dos wind up being the vast majority of it. I did do a January habit tracker with many fewer things, but some things that I keep lists in here so that I always have them with me. Things that I'm thinking about buying, like bigger purchases, I definitely find it helps me not to overbuy things that I'm not really going to use if I don't just buy things on impulse. If I make a note, I'm thinking about this. If I look at it, 3 or 4 or 5 weeks down the line, I'm like, yeah, I still really want that, then I'll go ahead and buy it.
Yeah,
but
definitely.
It's just a nice little way to kind of...
Great for keeping your list that you need to keep. Yeah.
Like you've got kid lists there.
I do have kid lists, and it's not complete either, but it has the list, which this is the food.
Is that what they like to eat?
This is the food that they like to eat at school. Because I have to go each
have to do their menus
month
and things.
Order their menus. Yeah.
Good,
So,
yeah.
But I also have kids activities up here.
I would totally keep something like that as well. It's like, you don't need to keep all that stuff in your head. Yeah. It's like, think of it as like a external hard drive for your brain.
Totally.
Right?
This is really my Girl Scouts page, also not done. I will plan my meetings. This is Yarnia's taxes. When I pay them, I check them off. That's good. So I make sure I do it.
One thing I threw in here was a knitting log. Even though I do put everything in Ravelry, I've been trying. I want to actually really be able to see.
So I've
got a knitting log, which I don't necessarily keep up with daily.
No.
and really it's even as
task.
Well, even as I complete things, I mean, what I'm doing really is just my start date and my finish date, and I started with things that were already begun before 2020 started. So, but anything that I finished in 2020. So I've got.
You finished your habanero hat.
Yeah, exactly. And
we'll talk about
like
that.
That's the last time. Like the last time I actually filled anything in here was after I started my habanero hat. So I haven't really done it in March. So I need to update. And I think, well, we'll see today. Maybe I'll update it after we talk about our are
by the
whips
time you
because
see
I think
this,
I have 4 whips.
By the time you see this, you'll have already seen.
That's right. That's right. Yes. and my 4 whips.
Yay.
Which is kind of nuts, but whatever. It's fun. Right. Knitting's fun.
Well, hopefully you found this either interesting and you're like, not for me, or maybe you found it like
hey, I might want to do that. Yeah. Definitely encourage you to give it a try. If you've been feeling like you want to be more organized and you like writing things down, one of the things I love about it is that, like, for me, I feel like it gives me positive feedback on things I'm already doing.
Totally.
And so I don't feel discouraged about my to-do list. I feel encouraged that, hey, look at all that I got done. I can do a few more today.
Yeah,
and I definitely feel more productive.
Totally. And I don't know. Like I said, I feel like I'm not dropping balls anymore.
And I think that is the other thing. Yeah, I definitely, I have also had that experience where it's like, oh crap, I was supposed to do what, And,
I know.
And if you got it written down, you're much more likely to come across it in a timely way and deal with it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I am.
Although finishing Christmas ornaments has been on my list since June a year ago, and they were not done. I'm doing like a little Advent Christmas ornaments, but I haven't finished them, and now they're going to be they're still on my list to do. Well,
that's good. You decided
year.
you still want to do them.
I remember them every week.
One of these weeks they'll be the top priority.
That's right.
They will. Yeah.
When I have 4 hours of free time.
All right. So anyway, hope you enjoyed our little bit on bullet journals, and we will talk to you again soon.
Bye.